Hey guys, it's Ginny Silver, and today I want to give you an update on the California EDD's progress with its backlog, its audit report, and upcoming changes in budget allocations that will provide more resources for the EDD. Now, in the governor's budget proposal, in the May revision of the budget, also known as the California Comeback Plan, it is stated that the EDD has 11 million work items to complete in its back. Now, Governor Gavin Newsom is calling the May revision for the state's budget the California Comeback Plan. In the California Comeback Plan, it does include a budget of $305.4 million allocated for the EDD. Now, this is to be used to address immediate challenges EDD faces while also building long-term, sustainable, and flexible processes that will modernize and strengthen the department's efforts, allowing it to best serve the people in California. Now, the May revision includes a $276.3 million one-time general fund, which is to enable the EDD to address deferred workloads and the ongoing work associated with claim volume and benefit renewals, extensions, and recertifications. It states here that the EDD estimates 11 million work items in their backlog, including determinations, employer protests, screening, benefit cross-match data, and identity documentation. Those 11 million work items are estimated to take 3.5 years to complete. Now, the May revision of the budget in the California Comeback Plan provides additional resources so that the EDD can contract third parties in order to reduce that 3.5-year-long estimation to complete those 11 million work items, and using those contract services to complete the workload in approximately 12 months instead. In addition to the deferred workload, they're going to be improving access to EDD services. They're going to be investing $21 million over a 2-year time span to improve education and outreach in communities requiring multilingual access to EDD services. They will invest $11.4 million to support trained staff in the America's Job Centers of California. And they will allocate $11 million over 2 years for the EDD to develop and implement a direct deposit option for unemployment insurance, disability insurance, and paid family leave claimants. The May revision of the budget comes following a hearing regarding the auditor's report of the EDD. Several months back, a California state auditor was required to audit the EDD, and their reports outlined significant problems within the EDD that must be changed, as well as recommendations that the EDD must undergo within a certain period of time. Last week, the EDD underwent an accountability hearing to see if they were following through with the auditor's changes. This resulted in the creation of an EDD audit progress report, where they track their progress toward addressing the CSA's recommendations and related department resources. Immediately following the report, the EDD was to improve its workload planning and projections and plan its staffing around the likelihood of possible future scenarios that would cause a spike in UI claims. They were to perform a risk assessment of its own deferred workloads, including deferred eligibility determinations and retroactive certifications. They were to develop a workload plan that prioritizes its deferred workloads based on the risk assessment and determine the staffing and IT resources needed to accomplish the work within expected timeframes, and they're expected to hire and train staff necessary in order to carry out the workload plan. All of these are still pending. By March 2021, they were to revise its public dashboards to clearly indicate the number of claims that have waited longer than 21 days for payment because EDD had not yet resolved pending work on the claim. This has been fully implemented. By June, they are to identify IT project improvements it can implement incrementally and prioritize implementing the elements most likely to benefit Californians. Determine the reasons why claimants cannot successfully complete their identity verification and work with its vendor to resolve these problems. And they are to determine the automation modifications it can retain by September 2021. It should make those a permanent feature of its UI online application. All of these are pending. For the call center, as soon as possible, they were to add the pre-recorded message function to its new phone system to advise claimants of their rights and responsibilities after they file a claim. Also, as soon as possible, they were to implement features of its new phone system that allows callers to request a callback from an agent instead of waiting on hold. This is noted as partially implemented. Now, some of you may have noticed that you can request a callback once you get to a hold line as opposed to waiting on hold, and some of you may have no idea what I'm talking about and may have not noticed this yet. That's because this is only partially implemented. By May 2021, they were to establish a policy for tracking and analyzing the reasons why UI claimants call for assistance, analyze the data every 6 months to identify and resolve problems with the ways in which it provides assistance to UI claimants through self-service and non-call center options, and develop special training modules to quickly train its call center staff on the most commonly requested items with which callers want assistance. This is pending. Also in May, they were to implement a policy to track and monitor the rate of first call resolution. EDD should review first call resolution data at least monthly. This also is pending. Under fraud prevention and detection, immediately following their report, they were to obtain from Bank of America a comprehensive list of claimants' accounts that are frozen. This has been fully implemented. By February 2021, they were to provide information on its website and set up a separate email box for victims of identity theft to Contact EDD, and this has been fully implemented. They were to establish a centralized tracking tool to monitor the status of benefit bank accounts. This is partially implemented and was due in February. By March of 2021, they were to designate a unit as responsible for coordinating all UI fraud prevention and detection. This is still pending. They were to establish a working group to coordinate the work needed to resolve each complaint of identity theft, make decisions about staffing levels necessary to assist complaints. This is fully implemented. They were to direct Bank of America to take action to unfreeze accounts as appropriate. This has been fully implemented. By May 2021, they were to develop a plan for how it will assess the effectiveness of its fraud prevention and detection tools, and this is still pending. And lastly, at an indefinite point in time, the EDD should identify the fraud prevention and detection efforts. It can adjust during periods of high demand, and it should ensure that it appropriately balances the need to provide prompt payment during a recession with the need to guard against fraud. And this is still pending. Okay, guys, I know this is not something that will immediately get you guys paid or help you to fix your claims, but hopefully that information is helpful in giving you some insight as to how the EDD has been progressing through the auditor's recommendations and how the budget changes from the California Comeback Plan are going to impact the EDD. Please click like, subscribe, and leave me a comment down below.